Hey everyone, so today's topic is how to deal with family, close loved ones, friends who kind of ignore the fact that you have an eating disorder and are in recovery. So, I actually want to start with a little excerpt from the book Madness, A Bipolar Life by Maria Hornbacher. And kind of like, I'm going to expand upon it, so just listen. It says, one day, while I am still manic, I am more than alert. I am alive with the whizzing and spinning of my mind. All day I have been waiting. I have a joke to tell them. I am having a hard time keeping it to myself. I grin and squirm. I think I will die if I can't tell it soon. I thought it up, and it's the most fabulous joke, a joke such as I have never heard, let alone come up with myself. So my boss and editor arrive, and I unleash my joke. So it's incredibly ironic, I crow at the end, my arms wrapped around my legs, rocking back and forth with glee. I can't have glass. Again with the nervous smiles. Amazed with their stupidity, I throw up my arms so I could kill myself. I shout and begin laughing so hard at my excellent joke that I have to hold my stomach. Oh, they say. Later along, her husband comes along, and this is what he says. I don't think they liked my joke, I say sadly. That's weird. It's a great joke. I'm sure they just didn't get it. They're stupid then. It's totally obvious. Totally? Do you want to sit in the chair? Okay. Oh my god, I'm still in my pajamas! You are indeed. So what? It's not like you're going anywhere. I must have been wearing my pajamas when they came. I'm totally embarrassed. What are they gonna think of me? I'm pretty sure they didn't even notice. Okay, so in that excerpt, Maria has been hospitalized and she had received like flowers from her boss and her editor, I want to say it said. But basically, what ends up happening is they come and she had this joke formulated and they just didn't get it. And to her, it was underappreciated the fact that they didn't understand the hilariousness of this joke. Now, at this point, she was highly manic during a episode of bipolar. And so it was like she thought it was hysterical, and she got it perfectly. And I think that's kind of what it is when you look at eating disorder recovery and eating disorders. It's something that a lot of people don't understand. It's a topic that, sure, people can talk about weight and they can talk about food and nutrition, but to talk about why somebody would starve themselves, binge, restrict, purge, whatever, is kind of really scary because they don't really understand the mindset behind it. And I think it's interesting that this week is the question about ignoring that you have an eating disorder. And I think it is the misunderstanding, especially like with this, they don't get how funny the joke was to her. And I think that for somebody who's suffering with an eating disorder, it is such a vital issue because it is consuming their life. And as they work on recovery, it's the forefront thing that takes their mind and thoughts. And for everybody else, it's just something they don't really understand, don't get. And it's just like kind of interesting to see it in that light, to think of it in like a joke, like an inside joke that people don't get unless they've either been in that mindset or not. And I think that when you come across somebody who's ignoring the fact that you have an eating disorder, ignoring the fact that you're in recovery, I know I've been there. I want to just yell at them and say, look, can't you like get it? Can't you just support me the way that I need it? But the thing is, they do not understand the mindset, just as her two friends did not understand the joke. And I think it's important to kind of come to terms with that, to see that it is something that there's been so much stigma around, there has been so much misconceptions about, that for somebody to try and imagine the mindset of an eating disorder sufferer is ridiculous unless they have been there. I know I was talking with one friend from school, and she has anorexia, and she was like, some of my friends just wish that I would get better and don't do anything. They don't understand the need for support. They don't understand why I would go through a day starving myself. They just want to fix it. And I think that's a vital thing to look at, the fact that um, like you can know everything about it. You know the mindset, you've suffered the illness, and yet Other people won't get it because it's not something they've been exposed to. It's not something that they've learned to deal with because they haven't talked about it with anyone. So I think that if you have family, friends who ignore the fact that you have an eating disorder, don't put them in the way of your recovery. Your recovery has to be the forefront. You have to just keep fighting no matter what. I know it's really hard, especially when you want to fight like crazy and you want everybody there to support you along the way. And when you feel like you're not getting that support, it is difficult. But recovery is so worth it. You have to put yourself first. Like, I know, as I've told you guys, or I've said here on multiple channels, my parents haven't been the most supportive of me, and they kind of ignore the fact that I have an eating disorder. And one of their things is we'll be sitting in family therapy. My dad says, Michelle, why don't you just run? That'll solve all your problems. And I turned to my therapist and I'm like, does that give me permission to run 8 miles a day? And she said no. And I know that. I know that my parents have that misconception, they have that misunderstanding, and that I need to really focus and say no. My recovery has to be the forefront. It has to be the most important thing in my life because my eating disorder has taken too much away from me. I have lived too long with the self-hatred, the negativity, lived in depression for too long to want to go back. And fighting like crazy is the only way to do it. And if you have those people in your life who aren't supportive, who kind of ignore the fact that you have an eating disorder, you have to look at it in this light, that it's an inside joke, something that they don't get, it's intangible, and yet it's necessary. It was vital that Maria say her joke. She was off the walls needing to tell it, and it's vital that you recover. It's vital that you keep fighting and keep working your way for recovery. So I hope that you guys kind of get the gist of what I'm talking about. The question for this week is, what is your favorite type of weather? Um, I love autumn. That's my favorite season. And so I really like that like sweatshirt weather that's really like, like it's that sweatshirt weather where it has that slight hint of coolness in the air, whereas like in spring, it's like the sweatshirt, but like it's getting warmer. Like I personally like the cold because you can bundle up more than you can take off. So I guess that's really my point of view. But yeah. Okay, so I would have to say that I like that sweatshirt weather where it's cold. You can wear a light jacket. Basically, end of October, beginning of November, that type weather. So it's nice. But it actually works though too. On a side note, because that happens to be my favorite type of weather, and my birthday is October 30th, so it falls right in that time period. So I look out every year, except for this past year. Random. I'm sorry, guys. I'm tangenting now, but this past year, it actually snowed the day before my birthday, and I was like, oh, okay. Good thing I like winter too. Yeah, but okay. Now that I've been rambling and going on about absolutely nothing except for the weather, I'll let you guys go, and I will see you guys next week. Okay, bye.